नया बनाते हैं भैया, बढ़िया, और हिट होगा वो। और आप बोलो मैं कुछ भी करूँ,
कुछ भी
करोगे आप?
कुछ भी।
Let's get this clear. I know what I'm stepping in for. I am not looking for nuance, depth, or the case of this being in any shape or form cinematically riveting. The Fast series that is carried on since 2001 has definitely overstayed its welcome, and it keeps on increasing installments just like the new models of the iPhones, where the creators promise us something unique and special with the new installment, but it ends up being an inconsequential software update on the new iPhone. So where are we following the crew this time? How can they offer us something special after Dominic Toretto dodged a heat-detecting missile thrown by a submarine and Roman and Tej catapulted themselves to space in the previous installment? Well, in this case, it's a pretty simple revenge saga where 10 years ago Vin Diesel and Paul Walker stole a vault from Jason Momoa's father, and in the chase the father passes away, and Momoa now is formulating a plan to make sure that Dom suffers the same familial loss that he felt 10 years ago. So he causes mayhem across continents and the crew tries to divert each threat. Thankfully not taking a trip to other planets this time, keeping it subtle and grounded, while keeping all the carnage on Earth. So here's me telling you the good and bad aspects of the film so that you guys can ultimately decide whether to watch Fast X in theaters or not. The good, the fans of the franchise. Let's get the demographic of the audience that is invested in this franchise even after the absurdity we have seen in the last few installments out of the way, because they know what they are stepping in for. This is going to be one mindless action set piece after the other as the makers try to conjure up the most cheesiest dialogues and situations to convince us that it's any different from what we have already seen. So for those who just want to see fast-paced cars doing the unthinkable and superheroes masked as humans who get away without a scratch from the dire circumstances, then this film is for you. But the category in which I lie, who absolutely disconnected from the franchise after Paul Walker left with F7, this one is a long-standing Matlab Kuch Bhi episode, and nothing else. While I totally respect some viewers fully channelizing this film as the mindless outing at the theaters for themselves, Fast X, even while mostly being set on Earth, still will leave you thinking that it's a bit much, isn't it? It's pretty crazy though how we become gravity experts and scientific analysts when it comes to our own mass action films in India, but we give a free pass to all the absurdity that unfolds in a franchise like this. Yes, it is true that Fast X is definitely more engaging than F9, but it's like me saying that Baghi 3 is better than Liger. It really is not a huge come up as one would presume. Soundtrack and Jason Momoa. What I did like about the film purely from a commercial standpoint is the music album that assists the visuals of the movie. Every time a new country is introduced in the screenplay, it is presented with an exhilarating tune that really sets the ball rolling for what lies ahead. I also liked how the set piece in Rio de Janeiro was almost an homage to the color scheme and theme of street racing that started this journey in its entirety. The only actor who really leaves a solid impression in this film is the antagonist Jason Momoa, who almost seems like was given free rein to play the eccentric baddie any way he wants. Momoa has a field day that probably is one of the hammiest portrayals you'll see of him, which fits the bill regarding the theme of the film. But it's also one of the main reasons why the stakes never get high enough for you, because you never take Momoa very seriously. His antics of showing his tongue like a toddler, teasing his opponent, or painting the toenails of his enemies that he's killed, or even worse, asking if Dom likes ballet or nutcracker in the middle of an action scene. He's eccentric, bordering on being laughable, but the only person who has a strong personality in this otherwise dull film, at least from a character standpoint. The underwhelming aspects. The cheese is just too cheesy. The dialogues of this film can give the makers of Race 3 a run for their money. I mean, you thought I Am Sick of This Sikku was bad? Every sequence that showcases Roman and Tej just does not land from a comedic standpoint. Dialogues like, the only thing that Roman knows about Rome is Roman noodles. Seeing nuns cross the street, Roman shouts, this is none ya business. They find a bomb and Roman asks, what does this bomb do? Tej replies, you know, the things bombs do. It just never lands. A forced cameo of a comedian makes the running time even longer. I give credit to the makers of Fast X for being self-aware in some moments of the pitch at which this film is presented. Momoa mentions casually being attacked by a helicopter and Dom picking up a car with one hand. Yes, that does happen, but the cheese is neither organically funny nor emotionally riveting when the concept of family is interjected at every possible scene. The worst of the lot has to be when Brie Larson's character is given a lowdown of the Toretto family. The explanation is packed with lines like the Toretto family is like a cult with cars, and that the agency is a beer and barbecue away from corruption, and these stakes never make you fear the events that lie ahead. How much is too much absurdity? Hey, I get it, you go in for the ride. The absurdity levels have been seen in the previous installments. I mean, how much can they really push the envelope in making you say कि ये थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो गया? The glimpses of the Rome set piece you have seen in the trailer where there is a rolling bomb going through the streets has the most hilarious solution found by Dom. How he saves the city from having thousands of casualties is hilarious. Little did I think that Vin Diesel flying in the air and catching Letty was the maximum amount of Superman antics we'll see, but someone else also joins the party of making us think that this family is just white tank top wearing superheroes at this point. The way Vin Diesel toys around with helicopters with his car will make you wonder whether Dom ever practiced this situation. It's all too seamless, and you just come to realize, as Jeremy Jahns rightly pointed out, this is essentially a soap opera with cars. If I put into context to the Indian market, it's literally Kasauti Zindagi Ki on cars, because the characters come out of the most dire circumstances where you are sure they have died and they appear without a scratch as if nothing happened. Just replace Prerna and Anurag with Letty and Dom and hey, the case is solved. The number of actors that exist in this movie will make you slightly exhausted. There are too many subplots happening in the same time, and in some cases they are abandoned too. The subplot of Letty and Cypher dueling with each other comes conveniently and is forgotten about later. Chris Tuckman rightly pointed out that this movie has too many side quests, and it being tough to keep up with what exactly each party is looking for. As I said, a forced cameo by a comedian just extends the running time, and the conclusion makes you scratch your head even more because there is literally more to come. This is apparently part 1 of 2 or 3 films, and this makes me think of how long will this carry on? Are we going to see Transformers enter this universe? Is the end of the trilogy going to be Thanos randomly appearing? It's absolutely absurd where this franchise is headed. If you are fans of F8 and F9 and are invested in this absurdity, I get that this may be fun for you. But my god, do they push the limits of testing each and every pragmatic cell in your brain, because it really does transition in several cases just to become a long-standing Matlab Kuch Bhi episode. And that was a video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about Fast X. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram, the handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.